Tommy Fury says he's been getting non-stop abuse on social media and even in real life after pulling out of his fight against Jake Paul. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you should know where I stand on stuff like this. It's one thing to have an opinion about a fighter, to express your opinion, but to be trolling him in his inbox and sending him abusive messages, and even in real life, calling him all kind of names. I mean, that guy's lucky that Tommy Fury didn't give him a right-hander. But to be doing all that kind of stuff is too much. It's like, do you actually hate Tommy Fury because he pulled out of a fight? It's not that deep. But people, I think, use public figures, sometimes celebrities, boxers, whatever, to vent the frustration that they have about their own lives. You know, and they target these public figures in this regard. And that's what it's really all about. Because, yeah, I've been frustrated when fighters are pulled out of fights, but never once have I thought, oh, let me make an anonymous sock account, Twitter account, and start messaging him in his inbox and abusing him. Like, what kind of demented, warped person would actually want to do that? Seriously, there's a lot of sad people in the world who don't have anything better to do. And again, they're just unhappy in their own lives. That's why they go ahead and do stuff like that. It's boxing, folks. Entertainment. And if you're somebody that maybe bought a ticket for the fight with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, okay, I can understand why you'd be a bit pissed off, but do you really know for certain that the reason Tommy Fury pulled out wasn't a legitimate reason? You don't know that for certain. We can all have our suspicions, yeah? But and look, boxing is a contact sport, folks. People do get ill, they catch colds and they do get injuries. Fights get postponed. Stuff happens. So there is, let's just say, plausible deniability at the very least, and there might be a legitimate reason why Tommy Fury pulled out, okay? Maybe there isn't a legitimate reason. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was him losing confidence or whatever the case may be. But again, is it so deep? I'm sure the people who bought tickets could get refunds anyway, although, they're going to be people who paid for hotels and maybe they can't get refunds on it. I don't know. But I'm going to guess, and I'm sure I'm accurate here, that the vast majority of people that were giving Tommy Fury abuse in, his Twitter inbox, in all the social media accounts, they were not people that actually bought tickets for the fight. They weren't. Yeah. And certainly not the person that's abusing him to his face. This wasn't somebody that bought tickets for the fight, I'm sure. Yeah. These are just idiots, toxic people in society who, like I say, they don't like their own lives. They don't like themselves, a lot of these people. And so they feel like they can use celebrities as a target to vent all their anger and frustration. So anyway, that's my take on it. Now, as far as Tommy Fury getting this fight against Jake Paul back on again, I wouldn't blame Jake Paul if he decided to move on and not fight Tommy Fury. I can't blame him because at the end of the day, he trained hard. He invested a lot of money in his training camp. He did his thing. So if there's one person who is entitled to genuinely be angry, it should be Jake Paul, right? Because look at all the stuff he invested in actually preparing to fight Tommy Fury. Most fans didn't invest anything like that, okay? So all that time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears, and getting ready for Tommy. And I'm not saying that that means Jake Paul should be able to, or that it would be right for Jake Paul to inbox Tommy Fury with a bunch of abuse and say this, that, and the other. But it would be more understandable. So if he decides to move on and not fight Tommy Fury, I can't hate on that. I can't criticize him for that at all. But I would be disappointed because it's still a fight I'd like to see. And people have been asking me, did you see the Tyron Woodley knockout? Yes, I saw the Tyron Woodley knockout. Looked like a perfectly legit knockout to me. I'm not sure why people are saying it was fixed and Woodley took a dive, because there's apparently this narrative out there. But people, there is somebody that will try to claim that just about every knockout that's ever happened in the history of boxing was fixed. You know, people that have no experience with actually fighting themselves or being present at ringside watching fights in real life, a lot of these people don't live in the real world. Or perhaps they're just not perceptive enough. They're not intelligent enough to be able to discern the difference between somebody taking a dive and somebody being legitimately knocked out. So again, I looked at that knockout and it looked perfectly legit to me, the way his body reacted and what have you. But to be fair, and I do want to be fair here, I haven't yet seen the whole fight. And the reason I mention that is because it can add context to what I saw. You know, was there something suspicious about the action prior to the knockout happening? I'll have a look at it when I can find a copy of the full fight. But again, my provisional assessment is that looked like a legit knockout to me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Tommy Fury. Will he get that shot against Jake Paul? Should Jake Paul just move on? And how do you feel about all the abuse that people have been giving Tommy Fury on social media, in his inbox, and, you know, tagging him in posts and all? To me, that stuff is just like over the top. You know, say what you want to say about the guy, but you need to tag him in posts and go in his inbox and try and make it personal. Like, what for? I mean, it's entertainment, folks. Just boxing. It's not that deep. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, I'm out.